Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another video. This video is going to focus on acceptance as a critical part or a major part of the process of healing, spiritual healing. And I'm just going to take you through it in a very slow and kind of gentle way, and if I can give some examples, I will. Acceptance is one of those key principles, along with forgiveness, tolerance, patience, true empathy, compassion, all of those sorts of things that go along with most true spiritual disciplines. Whether they're actively taught as such, in most cases isn't specifically necessary. Generally you will find that the nature of your healing, the nature of your transition or purification process kind of just brings you automatically into contact with certain actions in your mind that alleviate stress, anxiety and everything else virtually instantly, and acceptance is one of those things. But it's impossible to accept something on partial terms. I mean, ultimately, if you are looking at the idea, if you're using A Course in Miracles, if you're looking at the idea of accepting your relationship with God, which is the whole, accepting your part of the whole, you can't accept that partially. You can't accept that in part, because part of a whole is meaningless. Hello. Got a couple of visitors coming into shot there, being about their business, accepting their evening. So you'll find, if you are using A Course in Miracles, it makes it a lot easier because you're in constant contact with the concepts and the awareness of the need for applying the principles that those concepts embody. If you're new to this whole spiritual thing, you might question in some regard, well, what is acceptance all about? But acceptance without a goal, acceptance without a waypoint or a point of focus is pointless, because you wouldn't know when to accept something if you didn't understand what you were trying to do, trying to gain, trying to reach. And the goal of A Course in Miracles, or the goal of pretty much all true spiritual disciplines, is inner peace, right? Which leads to self-realization. So the goal of A Course in Miracles is inner peace, and you use inner peace as your barometer. You literally watch your own state of mind. You watch the kingdom of heaven, which is a peaceful mind, a heavenly state of mind. You're watching that within yourself as your own conscious state, and you're becoming, because you are watching it, you're becoming more aware of when something wants to drag you out of that state, when you're tempted to relinquish or give up your peaceful mind in exchange for dealing with something in the world, or trying to fix something or someone, or change something or someone, etc. And you'll have plenty of that as you go along. You'll have plenty of that, because the nature of true learning is through repetition here in the world, and that includes spiritual learning, although the miracle substitutes for learning that might have taken thousands of years. But in general, because you have to bear witness to your own connection, your own association with the oneness of all things in the world, the opportunities to be that witness and so confirm it to yourself, and so witness, the truth of it for yourself, will show up again and again and again until they're no longer needed. Right? It says in the Course that a lesson repeats until it is learned, And it doesn't matter if you move town, go to the other side of the world, get on a rocket ship to Mars or whatever, you take your mind with you wherever you go, and you will manifest the same energetic signatures, the same frequencies of experience that pop up as people, situations and events, or maybe Martians, in order to give you the same opportunity to bear witness to the truth of yourself, whilst you are still only accepting your goal for yourself in part, right? And if you're still tempted by the world, if you're still tempted to react to the world or buy into the dramas of the world, then you have not yet set perfect peace as your goal with any sense of real integrity. One of the lines that I love, and I quote it often because it was pivotal for me, it was a wow moment for me, where Jesus says in the Course, you would not react at all to figures in a dream if you truly knew that you were dreaming. And that really hit me like the proverbial ton of bricks. And I realized, because it hit me so hard, because it was so like right in my face, I realized how often I reacted to things, how many things I did make real to myself, right? Bearing in mind that the nature of spiritual understanding of the physical world is that it's an illusion, it's a dream, it's not actually real. And to awaken from it, you have to not only take that on board as the possibility of how it could be, so that you can sort of experiment with it and come to the conclusion that it is that way yourself, but you have to be willing to use that as the backdrop against where it is that the barometer of your own progress, your inner peace, comes into play, so that you can see yourself in relationship to the world. And I hope that makes sense. Right, so you have these little marker points, you have these little things. You can read that whole book, The Course in Miracles. There's like 800 odd pages in the text, and then the workbook, and then the teacher's manual. The workbook being 365 lessons, one a day for the year. You can read that whole text, and you only really need one good line like that to pop out at you and just like boof you around the head to wake you up. You know, it's like, holy damn, that's, if the world's a dream, and my job is to awaken from the dream of the world and remember the truth of myself as a celestial or divine being, which is an out of body, out of universe, out of everything experience, then my reactions to the world are proving to me that I still believe that the world has some sort of reality, because I wouldn't react to it if it wasn't real. You don't watch a TV show and sit there in your lounge room reacting to it as if it was real. You know it's a TV show. The same with your dreams at night. When you wake up, you know they're not real. They seem real while you're in it. And that's the reason that you have 365 lessons, because the world seems very, very real. You're putting the same energy or the same effort into denying truth to maintain the world, the appearance of the world, as you are to your new endeavors to release your mind from the clutches of the world, to begin to bring it to peaceful pastures, if you like, or green pastures and still waters, which is why I'm sitting here thinking how nice and still these waters are with the evening breeze. So acceptance of things is going to show you, or you can use acceptance as an applicable principle whenever your mind seems to be disturbed by something. Right? There is no point, like Jesus says in the New Testament, it says, resist not evil. There is no point resisting the world. The world is the symbol of evil, evil being translated in the Course in Miracles as error. Right? It's a miscreative experience of the mind. It's still part of mind, but the easiest way I can put it is how it's put in the Course is the opposite of life is not death. It's another form of life. So it's another form of life, but it's one that's kind of backwards. You know, it seems at first glance to be a chaotic place where all things end in death, until you realise, of course, it's not true. It's not reality. It's just a projection, just an illusion, just a dream like the Matrix, and you're actually somewhere else dreaming this. So when your mind is disturbed, you're using inner peace. You've set the goal as inner peace, and you're using it as your barometer throughout the day, and you're starting to take note of the kinds of things, the frequency attached to the kinds of things that disturb you. And you'll start to notice how alike they are. This thing has the same sort of energetic signature as that thing, or this person is just like that person, or this person who's my boss at work might be very similar to another boss that I had, which are symbolic of the cycles of your own thought processes, the cycles of your own projection. And coming to an acceptance of the fact that you're doing this to yourself. You're not a victim, you chose to come. Right? The world is a place where all things choose to come to die, or all things come to die. Nobody forced you here. You were very curious. You're very curious about the whole thing. And it's like, what's this thing, the third dimension, death? I think I'll check that out. And of course, when you get here, it's like, oh, I don't like this. Or maybe you still do. Maybe you still think there's something in the world that you want, but keep looking. So you get to the point where you realise that you're doing it to yourself. It's like, I keep reacting to the figures in my dream as if they were real. I don't know how to fix it. And of course, you've tried every way to fix it. You've tried to sort of tell yourself off, and you've tried to be a more positive thinker, and you've tried to do everything. And eventually you just come to a point of acceptance. I can't fix it. Right? You have to accept. You have to get to that point. I cannot do this. Right? Of myself I can do nothing, if you like biblical quotes. Of myself I can do nothing. And that opens the mind. Right? Once you accept for yourself, I can't do anything, right, which is the highest point of acceptance, then something else can happen that is not of your own making. Right? The mind automatically opens to possibilities beyond its own comprehension, which of course sort of dabbles in the miracle level. Right? You're sort of looking towards that sort of thing. I'm just going to let it be a miracle. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to change this. Somewhere this is tempting me to believe that the world is real. I need to accept that that's how I actually see it, rather than trying to transcend it by just telling myself, oh, it's just an illusion, don't worry about it. It's like, well, you're already obviously worried about it because it's disturbing your peace of mind, right? So doing the work and not bypassing things is going into that process of final acceptance. I can't do anything about it. I can't fix it. I can't change it. And that will instantly relieve you. And it has to be authentic. You can't, if it's just lip service, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. There has to be that final point where it just dawns on you with this awful sort of collapse. I can't do anything about it. And then let it collapse, let it fall apart. How much stress and anxiety is brought upon yourself by trying to maintain a house of cards that has already begun to fall. You can't stop it falling. It's going to fall. Give up, stop trying. And of course that's weakness in the ways of the world. To give up on something is seen as often as a weakness. And I've had people say to me, oh, you never give up, just keep going. It's like, no, I'm going to give up because I've got an alternative. I'm going to give up, and I'm going to leave a space for the Holy Spirit, or for the miracle, or for something, it doesn't matter what you call it, for something to happen that is not of my own making, because I can see that fundamentally my own making has got me into this shit. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of trying to fix my own shit, tired of trying to justify myself. You don't have to justify yourself to anyone. I mean, if God's not judging you, then who else is judging you but yourself? And you project that out onto people in the dream, people and things, and you say, that person's judging me, and it's like, there they are again in a different form, judging me, making me feel a certain way. And it's like, well, No, they're not judging you. You are the mind in judgment of yourself, and that is your mirror, that is your reflection. When your mind is healed of judgment, when it's healed of fear, when peace has become your abiding goal in life, your abiding purpose, through forgiveness, through acceptance, through tolerance, patience, and all of these principles applied, you will find that those witnesses to judgment and condemnation and sickness and suffering and death, they just fall away. And they become, not that they just fall away, they become witnesses to truth in the falling away, because you realize that you were never actually seeing it all correctly in the first place. You took the world at face value, thinking that it was how you thought it was, not realizing what it actually was, and you fell into the game of the matrix. You fell into the, play your part, stand up and do your bit, go to work, pay your taxes, etc. And I'm not saying don't go to work and don't pay your taxes, but I'm just saying see what the true purpose of all these things is. The true purpose of all these things is to help you awaken. The true purpose of every relationship that you find yourself in is to help you awaken. Until you actually understand that you're in a process of awakening, however, you can't participate with them in that level, and you tend to see yourself as a victim of things, as I'm subject to this and I have to do that and I must explain myself and I have to justify my existence and my pay packet and all this crap. But it's like nature abhors a vacuum. Right? That was Albert Einstein said that. Nature abhors a vacuum. There is no lack in the universe. There is no lack in God, because God is everything. When you let go and let God, the universe, or God, or whatever you want to call it, the almighty Boom Shankar, will flow in and fill the need that you have. Now, it may not be in the way that you think you want it to be filled, but it will do the job perfectly, and then more some. Right? It will do the job perfectly in a way where you recognize, in some even dim regard, the divinity and the perfection of it. All right? So simply coming to a point of acceptance is very, very quick once you truly accept. And I've had many times where I thought that I'd accepted something. This is the way it is. I can't do anything about it. I'll just accept it. Only to realise that the very next day I'm still pissed off about it. Which means I haven't really accepted it. I've just said the words, I've just said the words and haven't really let it into my heart. Acceptance, tolerance, patience, all of these things are things you're learning. Forgiveness, that's the main one, forgiveness. Willing to forgive myself for all my errors, all my foibles, all my mistakes, all my arrogance and hubris. Willing to forgive myself, not because I've done anything wrong and I need forgiveness, but because I was simply mistaken about what I thought I was. No one is judged for a dream. No one is held accountable for mistakes that are made in an illusory framework. I mean, if you wrote a computer program and it had a glitch in it, nobody's going to be like jumping up and down about it. It's like, oh, there's a glitch, we better fix that. And that's as simple as this is. That's what the atonement is. It's like, oh, I see, there's a mistake. It's a mistake in identity. It's a mistake in perception. Let's sort it out. Let's correct it, the correction of perception. That's the whole point of A Course in Miracles, is to correct perception. And once you correct perception in connection with even one person or situation or event, you will realize instantly how that correction then automatically can apply to everything. It's really quite beautiful. But whilst you're still trying to sort out all the everything, in order to have peace once it's all sorted out, because that's what the ego loves you to think. I'll just sort out all my problems and then I'll be at peace. It's like, no. Let's find peace first, and then your problems will automatically take care of themselves. Now, you're not going to believe that until you actually apply it. It's going to be so simple that you're going to take offense at it. promise you that's how it is. Everything is just a frequency, and if your frequency is operating in the spectrum of denial, you can very easily begin to retune it and realign it to bring it into the spectrum of Christ consciousness or acceptance of truth about yourself, right? Which is another way of looking at acceptance. I accept that I am the Christ, right? I accept that I am whole and perfect. Right? That's the flip side of acceptance, because when you accept you can't do anything about your world and you let it be miraculous, the miraculous is revealed to you, and it automatically tones to the idea that if there is a miraculous element to life and I'm part of life somehow, then I must also be miraculous. And in the Course in Miracles, Jesus says man is a miracle. You know, you have to kind of look at things. I mean, look at where I'm sitting. You know, how is this even possible? That life looks like this. I can develop a language with which to communicate and talk myself into another whole level, another whole dimension, another whole experience or paradigm of reality beyond this, whilst at the same time being in total appreciation of this moment and everything it's presenting as a witness to the truth of my own state of mind, right here and right now. Very calm, very peaceful. It's no accident that I'm sitting here. I can tell you that I chose this spot, but it's no accident I chose this spot. Where do you choose to be? How do you choose to see yourself? Like, the power of decision is your own. Nobody else can choose things for you. You have to make a decision, you know, and sometimes you have to accept that you can't wait for things to take their place, but you're entitled to miracles. And it's like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to ask for a miracle, and I'm just going to walk out of my front door, which is what I've done several times in my life since my initial since my initial illumination in 1997, as an idea of the avatar and the use of the avatar. Sometimes you find that everything is not working for you, and sometimes you just do need a clear space. I'm just going to walk out my front door and not look back, go sit on a mountain for a month. You know, give myself that sort of grace period where I can begin to look at what I'm actually doing in my own consciousness, what I'm actually doing in my own mind, as a way of seeing what I've been projecting out and getting back. Because the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And what you put out, you do get back. Not in the form, sometimes in the form, but not in the form particularly, but in the same frequency. You know? What goes around comes around. Fuck around and find out. All of these things. But you learn by getting the results of your own thinking. And if your thinking is off track, if your thinking is out of whack with the frequency of your truth, your spiritual truth, which is perfection, you're soon going to find out about it. You'll find yourself reacting to things as if they were real. I just had a very nice little phone conversation with Tina in Los Angeles, who is in the middle of reacting to things as if they were real. Luckily, she can see that her reactions to things are actually helpful, because she can see what it is she's doing in her own mind by making the dream real and giving energy to it, and thus perpetuating it. Because when you tell the universe that you want something by interacting with the universe, it's like that book, The Secret. It works exactly the same way. Manifesting, when you give that subconscious sort of signal to the mind to present you with more opportunities to be pissed off or react to things, that's exactly what it'll do. Until you change your mind about it. Oh, I don't want that anymore. But you've got to be honest about that. How do I not want that anymore? I don't know. I'm just going to have to surrender. I'm going to have to accept that I don't know how I got into this pickle, but there's a way for me to get out of it if I let something else happen that's not of my own making, right? If I let a miracle occur. And this is a journey of faith, if not anything else. it's a perfect journey. Always a perfect journey. I guarantee you won't like the corrective principle on this side of the confrontation with your own falsity, but on the other side, released from it, when you have a shift in consciousness, you're going to be over the moon. You're going to be ecstatic about it. You'll kick yourself in the pants, if that were possible, at how you got yourself in this pickle in the first place. I'm going to put an order in upstairs at manifesting for bodies from this point on, people's bodies to have a little extra foot. Where we once had a tailbone, we'll now have a little foot so you can kick your own pants. Alright, well that's about it. Sun's going down, beautiful evening. Remember, nothing really occurring at all. No sunset, no sunrise, no video, no nothing. Just a matrix, just an illusion, just the Maya. But include it in. You have to include it in. You have to let everything be as real as it seems to be, because that's the meaning you've given it. And you cannot withdraw that meaning until you accept that it's you that has given it all the meaning that it has to you. Which I think is lesson 2 in the Course in Miracles. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. Right? Reclaim that meaning and you'll reclaim your power. Stop putting meaning outside of yourself. You are the kingdom of heaven. You are God's creation. You are the dreamer of your dream. And I love you. Peace.